you said, Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in 2005, which is 12 years ago. That's insane to even think about. But speaking of years, Logan, what's your topic for us?
So my topic has been something that I have been stewing on internally for a little bit at this point, and it's essentially, what is the best year for video games ever? And I know that's probably a big question off the top of your heads. If you're like me, you probably don't remember certain years that certain games came out, but I took it upon myself coming into it to kind of compile some more notable years that I think had bigger releases in it and more releases in it of note. I don't know. I've gathered probably 5-6 years here that I think are of note. The main reason I've been thinking about it so much is because, Jared, you and I kind of talked about it before the show started, but I think 2017 might top them all, honestly, by the end of it. Like, I've never seen anything. It's about to be a big year.
Yes.
I've never seen anything this crazy packed into the first 6 months of the year. We still don't know anything that's out after June. We know games that are coming, though, like South Park's coming, Red Dead's coming, Super Mario Odyssey. Like, we know the games
Destiny
that are coming,
2.
but we don't know the release dates. Destiny 2, Battlefront 2, Assassin's Creed Egypt, if that's a thing, Call of Duty. Like, there's all these games that we know of that are coming that don't even have firm release dates and haven't even been revealed yet. And besides, I mean, I would say that the first 6 months of this year alone can compete with other years' entireties. So I think 2017 is incredible, and I am really looking forward to what's coming out. But because of that, I wanted to go back and look at past years and see what really stands out. And so I will run through some of these as quick as humanly possible, and if there's any that stand out to you guys, let me know. Probably the most notable one, and the one that most people talk about most often, is 1998. That year saw Half-Life release. It saw The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Banjo-Kazooie came out. Metal Gear Solid came out. Pokemon Red and Blue came out. Mario Party. There was a bunch of other things that came out that year. Those were the notable ones. So I think that's an important year because it's kickstarted a lot of important franchises like Half-Life and Metal Gear and Pokemon. So that year, in retrospect, may not be the best, but I think it's important because of what it started.
The beginnings.
The beginnings of those franchises that became so huge and important. On a personal note, like, these are some of my favorite years. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know how old you guys are too. I assume early to mid-20s. I didn't play a whole lot every year from about 2000 to 2005. Honestly, up until the 360 and PS3 generation, like, there was plenty of games that I missed out on that I never went back to play. So there's a lot of things in there that I didn't play. So those, I'd say about 5 or 6 years there from 2000 to 2006, really, I look back and I know games are good, but nothing really stands out to me because I didn't personally play them. But I'll give you some of the ones that stood out in my mind when I started looking at this. 2007, I thought, was really strong. They had BioShock. They had Mass Effect 1. The Orange Box, which means both Half-Life Episode 2, or Half-Life 2 Episode 2 came out that year. Portal came out that year. And Team Fortress came out that year. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, the original. Guitar Hero 3, so that was the first Guitar Hero on next-gen consoles. Assassin's Creed started that year. The Witcher started that year. Halo 3, I may have already just said that. Rock Band came out that year. Super Mario Galaxy was out that year. God of War 2 on the PlayStation 2, so that's an insane one. And then there were a few others. I know you had them in your list. Jared, I'm trying to see what else.
Uncharted.
Ratchet and Clank Tools of Destruction. Uncharted, Ratchet and Clank Tools of Destruction. World of Warcraft Burning Crusade is one you have on here. Skate is another good one. Crisis. So a lot of really good games in 2007. Again, a lot of the games that kind of kick-started what I think was last generation, like BioShock, huge important franchise, one of my personal favorite games of all time as well. The Orange Box by Valve is the best thing they've ever put out, I think. I think that's easy to say, and that's probably the best deal in video games ever, except for maybe Super Mario All-Stars. Just a lot of really big franchises, again, started that year. So I think the correlations between 98 and 2007 are really apt. 2008...
I'm sorry, I gotta correct you, Logan. The best deal in games history is Kingdom Hearts HD Remix 1.5 and 2.5. Coming March 28th to the PlayStation 4 computer entertainment system.
Oh my God.
The funny thing, Logan, is you talked about 2017 to start it off. A lot of the games in 2007 draw parallels to 2017. You have Mass Effect, you have Assassin's Creed, there's some interesting things there that draw direct comparisons. So.
Yeah, Super Mario Odyssey with Galaxy and things like that. So yeah, there is a lot of comparisons. 2008, again, the year after, I thought was also really strong. You had Grand Theft Auto 4, you had Super Smash Bros. Brawl, you had Metal Gear Solid 4, you had Gears of War 2, Far Cry 2, Rock Band 2, which I think is the best Rock Band game personally. And then I still remember this like week and a half in my mind. There was a 1 week span where Fallout 3, Left 4 Dead, Far Cry 2, and Fable 2 all came out within like 7 days of each other.
Oh, that was 1 week?
Yeah.
That was 1 week.
Holy shit.
Because I remember I picked up Fallout 3, Far Cry 2, and Fable 2 on the same day. I called it the F day.
Yeah, the what the fuck do I play day.
Yeah. So those all came out on one day.
What F do I play?
Yeah. And then you had Mario Kart Wii, which was good. Resistance 2, which I personally really liked. Dead Space was also that year, which is awesome. And then Star Wars The Force Unleashed, Mirror's Edge, Little Big Planet, Devil May Cry 4, Braid, which is like the first indie game practically. So again, a lot of really good games in 2008. 2007 and 2008 back-to-back are phenomenal. And I think it's only rivaled by 2010 and 2011 back-to-back. And
here we go.
I think part of that's because a lot of sequels from those 2007 and 2008 were coming out in 2010 and 2011. And in a lot of ways, they were better than their predecessors. Some games in 2010, Mass Effect 2, Call of Duty Black Ops, Red Dead Redemption, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Fallout New Vegas, God of War 3, Mario Galaxy 2, Limbo, Super Meat Boy, Heavy Rain. I'll say this one on a personal note, NBA 2K11, that was what started the NBA 2K games into being what they were. That was the one that had Jordan on the cover. That was when it went from being just another NBA game to like the NBA game. Like NBA 2K11 might be the best basketball game of all time.
That was the fall of NBA Live. That was like when you notice like, oh, 2K knows how to make a basketball game. Live is falling off. Yeah.
2K was always good, but they took it up about like 10 notches that year. That was
fucking NBA Live still just struggling to catch a breath in 2017.
It's kind of amazing that they're still making those games considering they're such trash.
Did they make one last year?
No, they didn't. It's been a 2-year hiatus. Remember, so they announced the NBA Live.
That explains it.
Then it never came out. Then they released NBA Live the following year, and then we haven't heard from it since. So it's been like, I think, two or 3 years since NBA Live.
No one really asked any questions.
Yeah, well, no one ever asks for it, so why even bring it up?
I used to work at I worked at GameStop when the last one came out, and people would come in and they'd be like, I think I'd like to buy NBA Live, and I would like. There's a lot going on in the news lately with like GameStop employees trying to talk people out of sales, but I did it for good reasons. I tried to talk people out of NBA Live for good reasons. I had a heart about it, so I always pointed them to 2K instead. Also in 2010, let me see here, BioShock 2, which is all right. Battlefield Bad Company 2, which I thought was the
BioShock 2
Bad
gave
Company
us
game.
BioShock 2 gave us Minerva's Den. So, I mean, there was a bright spot.
Have you played it yet, Jared?
No, but I know it's good. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm a huge BioShock fan. I couldn't get into Minerva's Den. So
interesting.
There's that. It's a good story. It's a good compact story, but I couldn't really get into it. A few others here of note. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Conviction, which really kind of brought Splinter Cell back from the dead, and then they put it back in the grave after Blacklist, and it hasn't been seen yet. Alan Wake is another good one that I personally love.
I love Alan Wake.
Yeah.
And then Mafia 2, another solid game, and Gran Turismo 5. There's a few other things here.
Logan, real quick, did you play Quantum Break?
I did.
Yeah, I love the Alan Wake reference at the beginning of that game when they're in the classroom. I was like, yes. I did too. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought that was really awesome. 2010 also had Fable 3, by the way. Just throwing that in there. 2011. I'll try to get through these as fast as possible, and I know it's really quick for you guys, and I don't know if you'll be able to separate any of them in your heads afterwards. 2011, Skyrim, obviously on 11/11/11, which is a standout. Skyrim, Modern Warfare 3, Batman Arkham City, which is one of my personal favorite games of all time. Uncharted 3, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, Portal 2, Super Mario 3D Land on the 3DS, Battlefield 3, Saints Row the Third, Assassin's Creed Revelations, LA Noire, Dark Souls, which is a huge important game. There's not really much filler after that, but I think those few at the front, Gears of War 3, there's another good one. I'd say there's less this year that came out that was of note, but the games that were of note this year I felt like were of a higher caliber, like Skyrim, like Arkham City, like Uncharted 3, Portal 2. The games that did come out and were great were like some of the best in the franchise. And then 2015, shout out to 2015. I thought 2015 was amazing. You had Battlefront, you had Metal Gear Solid 5, you had Rise of the Tomb Raider, Witcher 3, Black Ops 3, Batman Arkham Knight, Bloodborne, Rainbow Six Siege, Fallout 4, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Halo 5, Just Cause 3. You had Super Mario Maker. I'm trying to think of some other things.
Did you say Arkham Knight?
Arkham Knight, yeah. The Order 1886, if that's your jam. And then Mad Max, Mortal Kombat X, Splatoon, Until Dawn, Destiny: The Taken King, Xenoblade. Dying Light was also 2015. Xenoblade Chronicles X.
I'm sorry.
Just keeps going.
Sorry.
Just keep going.
I really think Until Dawn is like the most underrated PS4 game. Like Until Dawn is such a unique game. Like I loved that game so much. Like
it sold really well.
We all know the most underrated PS4 game is the infamous Second Son.
I thought you were gonna say Knack, and I was gonna cry. Like I really think that as games go on, we're seeing that the cycles of games are getting quicker, and we're just seeing so many good games come out. And to your point, like there's so many years that you can just call like that's the year to me objectively. That's the best year, right? For me, it's 2007, just because a lot of those franchises resonate with me, and a lot of those franchises have continued. And to me personally, 2007 was a big year in which I realized I was a quote unquote gamer. Like I loved video games, right? Like I'd played video games.
That was probably my year as well.
Yeah, but like 2007 is like I like video games. I like a lot of different video games. That year had such a ripple effect on the industry and everything moving forward. But like you think about 2005 is a very polarizing year because you had the new excellence in RPGs in Witcher 3, and you had a good and familiar friend that seems a little outdated in Fallout 4, and it was weird seeing both those come out the same year, you know?
Yeah.
Because Fallout 4 was a good game. It wasn't by any means a bad game. But you saw Bethesda for so long was the RPG guys. Like they always had the top of the line best RPG in the industry for the most part. Though it had some trouble running, they always had like the thing to look to. And that was the year when Fallout 4 came out and was like, on its own, this is a good game. But then you look at Witcher 3 and you're like, man, Bethesda fell behind for once. And it's weird to see, you know? So that was a very polarizing year.
So yeah. I'm sorry, Jared. I thought you were done.
No problem. Go ahead.
I'm going to have to say 2015 for me just because it's got 3 of my favorite games of all time that year. That would be Bloodborne, Witcher 3, and Metal Gear Solid 5. It's Phantom Pain. I mean, like I said, 3 of my favorite games of all time, all in one year, all spread out throughout the year, and plenty of other awesome games that year with Arkham Knight and Mad Max and just a bunch of goodness. So 2015, I don't know, man. That might be it for me. That's probably going to be my choice.
All right, I got to go. It's weird because it was 2007 when Call of Duty Modern Warfare first came out. And that was pretty much the only game I played for the next 3 years. So that one game made that year so good for me that I ended up missing out on all those other gems and ended up having to go back. So it's kind of mixed up in my head, but 2011 I think is probably what I'd end up saying. Just Skyrim and Dark Souls to me, that's just they stick out the most.
Yeah.
Did you get Dark Souls when it came out, out of curiosity, or did you?
Yeah,
were you one of those people who went back and found it later?
Yeah, I played it within I think a month or two when it came out.
Same.
Played Skyrim first, and then a friend of mine was like, "Oh, did you like Skyrim? Like, you need to try this, but just be careful." And gave me a weird warning. I'm like,
just wear a diaper.
Yeah, he's like, no, it's hard. You don't understand. I'm like, whatever, I got it.
Same reason, the gamer arrogance. I heard because I got it maybe 3 or 4 months after the game came out, and people are like, "You like RPGs, right? Check out this game." And I like the whole aesthetic, and they're like, "But it's hard. Just remember, it's a hard game." And I'm like, "How hard can it be?" Started up the game, punched me in the mouth. I'm like, "Oh, I like this," and then fell in love ever since.
Ooh.
Yeah. I like games that are
Jared
challenging.
likes to get hit hard.
Yeah, I love challenging games, dude. Like, ugh. I think, as it's shaping up, 2017 easily could be the year of, like, the best year ever, right?
Shit
and it's
is
so
whack.
It's so funny because, like, the last 6 months, we don't even have release dates, but yet, like, everything coming out in the first 6 months has a potential. Obviously, it could come to, like, bad critical reception, but on paper, it looks like it's shaping up. This could be the year, which is crazy.
Well, even I think what's important to note too is that even like the borderline games that we were like, maybe that'll be good. Like the one that stands out right now, Neo. Like everybody, I had my eye on Neo, but I did not anticipate everybody and their mother to be talking about this game on my Twitter feed and Facebook and all this stuff. That game, it has so much hype and so much talk surrounding it right now, and I did not anticipate that. So then, again, that's another game for 2017 that by the end of the year we're going to look back on and be like, Neo came out this year. Holy crap, Neo. And dude, I do totally think that the first 6 months of this year honestly stack up against really any of these that I just listed. And that might sound crazy, but I think they do.
The beauty of it is the reason it's going to stand out too is because though Prey is an already established IP, it is new to me. Like, I consider it a new IP because it's in a completely different direction, right?
Yeah.
And Neo and Horizon Zero Dawn, like, we're not only getting the sequels.
Yakuza 0 is another one that I think is worth noting. Like, there's a ton of buzz around that game, and Yakuza games have come and gone when they release it. Usually they come out and it's like, a new Yakuza game's out. I've heard so much talk about Yakuza 0 more than I have any other game in the franchise.
Yeah, I think that the best years are the ones that mix a new IP with sequels, and I think this is a year that can really establish that. Like, the return to form for Resident Evil, you're hopefully a return to form for Mass Effect, and then you have the new IPs along with sequels to games we already know are beloved. So, like, I think it's shaping up to be. We could potentially say 2017 if we have you back on, which we probably will sometime in the year. Hopefully, we'll have you on next year too. We'll look back and have this conversation again and be like, "Oh yeah, it was 2017 is the best year in gaming." Obviously, So.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone as far to say that I think it will be the best year in games. Like, I've said that for a while now, and I fully expect that sentiment to still hold up by the end of the year.
We didn't even point
depends
out
on if Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out this year.
Stop. Well, what we didn't even point out was 2 new consoles this year, assuming Scorpio.
That's also a great point. Yeah. So we're getting new consoles in the middle of a console life cycle as previous. Like, PS4 is kind of starting to hit its stride, and we don't really know what's up with the exclusives for that. Like, we could still potentially see, like, Detroit Become Human in the latter half of this year. We could also see Days Gone this year potentially as well. Like, I don't know if that game will be good or not.
Don't forget about Persona.
Yeah, Persona 5.
Yeah, Persona's out in April.
Also, the big thing that we're forgetting too is, like, this is a strange year for consoles to launch, and it also be a good year for video games, and that's because we're getting into this more iterative state. We didn't talk about 2013. We didn't talk about 2005. So this it seems like it's going to be a year where it melds both of those, where it is the console releases and the video game lineup, which is crazy. So I'm excited. I think all of us are excited. So
the 2 other things I'll say about 2017, because I know you're probably about to wrap up here. VR also, which I know we haven't touched on, but VR games are now a thing that you can have in your living room. I have one right over there. So that's a thing. And even though I really don't know any other PSVR games that are coming out anytime soon, Psychonauts, I'm really excited for Psychonauts in the Rhombus of Ruin. I love that series. So I'm looking forward to that, but I don't really know what else VR related is coming out. The other thing too, and this is why I didn't put 2016 on my own list for, like, what are potentially my favorite years ever. There wasn't any marquee titles that I like. When the 12 months are over and you look back, like, what is the one big marquee game that stands out to you? And for a lot of people last year, that was like Uncharted 4 or something like that. I didn't feel like we got really a ton of games like that last year, but I'm already seeing it that Zelda's going to be a marquee title, Mass Effect's going to be a marquee title, Persona 5 will be as well.
Super Mario Odyssey will be, like, there are just those games that automatically like rise above the rest. Yeah.
And when you look back at a year, there's like a lot of games that came out like, oh, I totally forgot I even played that, but I did, and that was a good game. Like, and I'm not saying this to be degrading or anything, but like something like Prey will probably be something like that for me. Like, oh, I loved Prey. That was a great game, but I totally forgot about it here as we sit in November of 2017. Like, there's always those games every year that you forget about in retrospect. This year, there are like 5 or 6 games of like high note that I think are coming out. And that was, I didn't think 2016 had very many of those. And I think it's mainly because they all got pushed to 2017 instead. And we're getting them all, it seems like, within the next 4 weeks, which is insane. But yeah, I mean, if we're going to close the conversation too, personally, I'd say 2015, 1998, and 2007 are the 3 years that stand out to me. If I was to choose one, I'd lean towards 2007, but I think the importance of 2008 or 1998 is like, cannot be, it like Metal Gear Solid, Ocarina of Time, and Pokemon. Like, that's huge. And Banjo-Kazooie. Like, those are 4 of probably my top 10 favorite games ever in that year alone. So I don't know. It's hard. I go back and forth, but I think 2017 will blow them all away by year's end if it keeps up this pace.
Hopefully. One can only hope.
2015 is the most important year in video gaming history because it is the year that the rise of CD Projekt Red was finally solidified.